How's it going, everybody? It's Warren. Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. And now we have less than a week until WandaVision airs on Disney+. And if you haven't heard, we are getting a 2-episode premiere. Again, I'll be having a watch party on my YouTube channel if y'all want to join me in watching it. And it sounds like the show is absolutely fantastic, as the reviews have come out today, the embargo is lifted, and the people who have gotten early screening of WandaVision have been allowed to post their reviews. And they all have online, and all of the reviews are absolutely incredible. It seems like Marvel has completely crushed it with WandaVision, as if anybody had any doubt that they would. So we'll go over a bunch of reviews in this video, talk about what all the media outlets are saying about the show, about Elizabeth Olsen, about Paul Bettany, and about the overall vibe of the show. So if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest WandaVision and MCU news. So to start this off, we'll start off with Steven Weintraub from Collider, and he says, "Have seen the first 3 episodes of WandaVision and love how big of a swing Marvel Studios is taking with the series. The reason the MCU is king of the hill is Kevin Feige's amazing leadership and willingness to take risks like what you'll see in WandaVision." A lot of people asked me about the length of the WandaVision episodes. The first 3 episodes are about 1 hour and 30 minutes. I think the episodes get longer as we get further into the series. Now, it has been confirmed that the first 2 episodes are about 30 minutes each, and it's safe to assume that Marvel Studios will somewhat follow what Lucasfilm did with The Mandalorian, and that means that each episode may not be the exact same length. Some episodes of The Mandalorian were 40 minutes, 50 minutes to an hour each. They weren't all the same. So Steven Weintraub saw the first 3 episodes and said it took about an hour and 30 minutes, so we can assume that they're about 30 minutes each. And from his review, it sounds like Marvel Studios really is trying something different when he says they took a big swing. But he says they nailed it and that Marvel Studios is king of the hill. The next review is from Eric Goldman of Fandom, and he says, "I've seen the first 3 episodes of WandaVision, and man, it's my jam. If you fret that all superhero stories can feel the same, here is big proof otherwise. I found it delightfully trippy and intriguing. I love what I've seen so far and can't wait to see the entire season. The entire cast of WandaVision is great and fully committed to the stylized approach, but Elizabeth Olsen's performance is truly outstanding and one of those, man, if awards shows weren't snobby about superhero stuff, she would likely get an Emmy nomination situations." That's something that has always kind of bugged me, how Hollywood tends to write off superhero shows for Emmy nominations and how they write off movies for other nominations as well. Because as you see here, as we go through more and more reviews, people are raving about Elizabeth Olsen's acting, saying that she absolutely crushed it, and isn't that really what the awards are supposed to be about? It shouldn't really matter if it's in a superhero TV show or not. Acting is acting. So hopefully they can look past the whole superhero TV show part and strictly judge her on her performance, because if she is as good as everybody is saying she is, she definitely deserves at least a nomination. Now, I really like this comment because he says that if you fret that all superhero stories can feel the same, here's big proof otherwise. Now, of course, we've already seen from the trailers that this show is going to be pretty different than anything we've seen from Marvel Studios, which is awesome. You have to do something different to keep people entertained. And it sounds like Marvel Studio has hit the nail on the head with the WandaVision series. The next review is from Tanya Lamb, who is a critic for Rotten Tomatoes, and she says, "WandaVision, it's a gas. After screening the first 3 episodes, I'm hooked. Fun, clever, and marvelous. The quirky 30-minute sitcom style leaves you wanting another episode each time." Now, this is really nice because sometimes it's really hard to get a good review from some Rotten Tomato critics, but Tanya seems to have loved the series. The next review is from James Viscardi from comicbook.com, and he says, "We knew WandaVision was going to offer a much different view of the MCU, and boy, does it. Most of the sitcom setup of the show makes the reality of the situation moments incredibly tense and gripping. How WandaVision approaches what we think is normal and what isn't makes it an incredibly fun watch just 3 episodes in. I am impressed at how much it offers fans waiting for MCU content while still showing restraint." Now again, in this review, we hear about how different the series is. And anytime somebody tries to do something very different, it could go either very well or very poorly. It's very rarely in between. It's usually one or the other, very good or very bad. And judging on all of these comics, Marvel Studios has done an excellent job, and it is very good. Now, one thing that particularly caught my attention about this review is that he said, "I am impressed at how much it offers fans waiting for MCU content while still showing restraint." That's actually really nice to know because Marvel Studios knows that we've been waiting for content for a very long time. And WandaVision was not originally supposed to be the first project of Phase 4 that was supposed to premiere. But of course, now it is. And it's good to know that they didn't do too much fan service with the first 3 episodes just because we've been waiting. They've stuck true to the story, but have completely blown people away with what they showed. That's proof right there that Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige really do know what they're doing. The next review comes from the Twitter account at Mama's Geeky, a writer for Screen Rant and a critic at Rotten Tomatoes. And she says in her review, if the first 3 episodes of WandaVision are any indication of what is in store for us, we are in for a wild and crazy ride. This show is banana pants crazy in the best possible way. Weird, fun, and simply amazing. It feels so very good to be back in the MCU. Again, another great review calling it crazy, but in an amazing way. I think if there's any word that could describe WandaVision so far based off of these reviews, it's crazy. But again, everybody says that Marvel Studios nails it and they do it just right. Not over the top, not underperforming, and not crazy in a bad, weird way, but a good, weird way. The next one comes from Charles Murphy over at murphysmultiverse.com, and he says that WandaVision is the perfect way for Marvel Studios to introduce itself. If this is what Marvel Studios TV is going to be, fans are going to be happy for a very long time. This is a pretty exciting review because he says that it's a good way for Marvel to introduce itself, and there are going to be a lot of people who have Disney Plus who may not be the biggest Marvel fans or maybe just casual Marvel fans who end up watching the show just because they have Disney Plus and it's on it, but end up falling in love with the series and therefore Marvel. So again, I think it's really awesome that Marvel's doing something so different and they're nailing it. And then we have a review from Dorian Parks over at Geeks of Color, and he says, watched 3 episodes of WandaVision and the show is weird as hell in a good way. 2 things are clear. 1, Marvel is dedicated to parodying classic sitcoms, and 2, the MCU is finally back. Can't wait to see how this show sets up Doctor Strange 2 and Spider-Man 3. It sounds like the first 3 episodes didn't dive too much into the different realities part of the show, and if they did, they definitely can't say anything about how it did tie into that. But again, another review stating that the show is weird as hell, but in a very good way. And for our last review, we have Eric Davis over at Fandango. And he says, I've watched 3 episodes of WandaVision and have thoroughly enjoyed it. Truly unlike anything Marvel Studios has done. It's light, funny, and fully committed to its retro sitcom inspirations, but it also carefully sprinkles in enough mystery and intrigue to keep you guessing. Well, it sounds like Marvel Studios nailed it with the sitcoms that they're recreating. I know some people were kind of worried about that, but absolutely 0 complaints here from any of the reviews. I think every review said that it was either crazy or weird, but in a very good way. And almost all of them said or implied that it was very different than anything that we've seen from Marvel Studios so far. And overall, it sounds like Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige, Elizabeth Olsen, and Paul Bettany absolutely crushed it with WandaVision. So, WandaVision premieres January 15th, next Friday. I'll be doing a watch party on January 14th at 12 a.m. If you want to join me, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the notifications. Like this video if you're pumped for WandaVision, and let me know how excited you are for it in the comments down below. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.